Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. I'm Wajia, and I'm a consultant here at SIUK. And today we're joined by three representatives from Leeds Beckett University. We have Ashley Smith, who is the Regional Manager for North America, Aaron Taylor, who is the International Development Officer, as well as David Norris, the Course Director and experienced lawyer at the law school. So a great team of people to answer any questions that you have. Feel free to put those in the questions box on the right-hand side, and we can go through those towards the end of the presentation. And just very quickly before I hand it over, SIUK is a global agency, and we are official representatives of Leeds Beckett in Canada and the US. We do provide free application support to students for a variety of subjects, although we do specialize in helping you find the right law school for you. Usually based on your grades, as well as any preferences that you might have, such as location. And we do have a 98% success rate in placing students at a UK university. So I'll go ahead and hand it over to Ashley.
Thank you firstly for coming along to our webinar today. So just as the title of the webinar suggests, we will be talking you through our law programme, specifically LLB law, which is popular with Canadian students at Leeds Beckett University. So the presentation should roughly run for about half an hour. If you have any questions though, please don't be shy, feel free to post them in the chat function and we can help to answer your questions throughout the presentation. But if there's anything that you want to ask after the presentation, we can do a question and answer for about 10-15 minutes as well, or however long it takes to answer all your questions. So just a quick introduction first. So I'm Ashley, I'm the Regional Manager at Leeds Beckett University, and I cover North America and Europe. I've been with the university since April this year, so I'm relatively new. However, I have worked for a couple more institutions across the UK, and I've always specialised with North America and Europe regions. Those are the ones I enjoy the most. I'll pass over to David next, if you want to introduce yourself.
Yes, hello, thank you, Ashley, and hello, everybody. Thank you for coming along today. Hope you're having a nice day so far. So my name is David Norris, and I work within the law school, and I'm the course director for the LLB programme. So that basically means that I'm responsible for the management of the programme and making sure that it all runs smoothly. And I also do some teaching. I teach on the English legal system module, which is a level 4 module, which you would study in year 1, and also on employment law, which is a year 3 module. I was an employment lawyer in practice before I joined, before I moved into higher education. I worked in practice as an employment lawyer for about 10 years, and it was a very interesting area of law, and I've been with the university in my current role since 2018, so I'm really looking forward to talking to you about the course and fielding any questions that you have.
And Aaron, do you want to introduce yourself as well?
Yeah, of course. Hi everyone, my name's Aaron Taylor, and as the slide suggests, I'm the International Development Officer for North America and Europe here at Leeds Beckett University. I've been in this role for about 4.5 years now, actually. Sometimes I do go over and visit Canada. I've been to the SIUK Toronto offices before. It's always a great place to visit. So hopefully we will be doing a little bit more of that, myself and my colleagues, and we'll bump into you over the next months or years, or however long it is. But really great that you can join us here today, and we look forward to telling you more about our university. You have heard of Leeds before. Leeds is actually one of the largest cities in the UK, and it is situated towards the north of England, kind of halfway in between London and Edinburgh. You do get some bonus points if you have heard of Leeds before, but like I say, it's definitely one of the largest cities in the UK. It's home to a regional airport, Leeds Bradford International Airport, and we do have some of the international airports close by as well. That being said, because of that, it is very well connected to the rest of the UK and Europe as well. So we have a direct train that goes down to London. You can be in King's Cross in just over 2 hours, and then you can head down to Europe further from there. Leeds is a very diverse city. We actually have, I think it's something like 140 different nationalities within the city. because it does have such a large student population. Like the next bullet point suggests there, we do actually have 5 universities in the city and over 60,000 students. And that does contribute to the diversity of the population of the city. And Leeds was voted happiest major city in the UK according to a study by SafeStore in 2019 as well. I put that largely down to the very friendly Yorkshire accent that you would definitely hear if you were to visit Leeds. Thanks, Ashley. And then, yeah, these images were just to kind of describe, to give you an idea of what Leeds is like as a place. So it is a very modern city, but it does also have, even though it is one of those larger cities, like I was suggesting, it's quite a small city centre, and you do have some amazing, beautiful countryside just on the outskirts as well, which are only about 10 to 15 minutes drive just on the outskirts of the city centre. So it's very well known for its lovely walks, its sort of outdoor activities, which you could definitely do if you were a student in Leeds. And it's also very famous for its shopping too. So we get a lot of local, people from around other cities as well will come to Leeds for the weekend and take advantage of the numerous shops and the very famous arcades that are in Leeds as well, that's one example on the right hand side there. Thanks, Ashley. So yeah, a little bit more about Leeds Beckett University. So our history actually stretches back almost 200 years. This building in the image on your left hand side there was actually used as a hospital during both World War I and World War II, so it does have a lot of history to do with the university. We currently have 28,000 students across the university. We have around 24,000 that are on campus and the rest of them are studying online. And it's around 1,500 international students at the moment. Just over the past year, actually, we have invested around £200 million in brand new state-of-the-art campus facilities. This was £80 million on a brand new Leeds School of Arts building that's actually in the city centre, and £45 million on a brand new sports research building as well, which opened last year, which are both very impressive. You can see images of those on our websites. We are in the top 40 for student satisfaction in the UK, and that was voted 2022, so that's a very current statistic. We have an overall student satisfaction of 85%, and 90% of all of our graduates are in work or for the study within 15 months of graduating. We were also awarded 5-star QS rating for factors such as employability, facilities, internationalisation, which we've been awarded for a number of years on the trot now, and inclusiveness as well. And we've actually been ranked in the Times Higher Education's list as top 1,000 universities in the world. If you research about Leeds Beckett University, you will probably notice that we are actually split across 2 campuses. So we have one campus that's based in the city centre. It's actually in the heart of the city centre, so it's only about a 5 minutes walk to the rest of the shops and restaurants and everything else. And we have another campus that's around about 10 minutes drive just outside the city centre, which I'll come on to in the next slide. But our city campus is it's home to the business school, obviously the law school. This is where you would be taught as well if you're studying law. It's actually on the doorstep of hundreds of businesses and organisations that offer plenty of work placements and employment opportunities as well. So like I was saying, we've invested quite a lot in the state-of-the-art creative spaces within the city centre, and the bottom image is the brand new creative arts building, which, like I was saying before, is around about £80 million worth, and that's all brand new state-of-the-art equipment covering the likes of music, filmmaking, and other art subjects like that one. The top image there is actually our business school. And like I say, these are very, with the city centre being so sort of compact, they're very easy to walk around. You don't need to hop on public transport to be able to walk around the city centre. We don't only have one train station. All of the buildings themselves are close together and almost pretty much next to each other. So you can just hop around from the library to your classes and from your accommodation and vice versa. And we also have, just to finish off that slide as well, I think it's just the engineering is actually on that campus as well. And then, like I say, just around 10-15 minutes bus journey from the city centre is our Headingley campus, and that's actually based in an area called Headingley, and this is quite a popular student area as well if you were looking for accommodation, if you wanted to live up here. It's set in 94 acres of parkland, so whereas the city campus is very modern, based in city centre. This has that little bit more countryside feel, and it has a lot more sort of grassy areas where you can sit and enjoy a nice barbecue on the grass lawn there outside the James Graham building, which is a lot of students do towards the summer. So like I say, the first image is where the library is based, and the second image is our sports research building that I was talking about, cost around £45 million, which was opened in summer 2020, and we have a lot of Olympic athletes have trained in here. We had, if anyone follows football, we had Leeds United Football Club did their pre-season training in this building, and also Huddersfield Town did their pre-season training just this summer too. So a lot of famous football stars actually came onto campus and used these state-of-the-art facilities, which included measuring heart rate and that kind of thing there. So a lot of specialist equipment within this particular building. We also have some other sports facilities, including sports pitches, football, rugby, that kind of thing, field hockey as well. We have a swimming pool, inside and outside tennis courts, and we have an outdoor running track as well. This campus also houses things like events, hospitality, tourism, computing, and some of the music classes are actually based on this campus too. So yeah, just a brief overview. So we do offer, I think it's something like 150 undergraduate courses, 190 postgraduate courses. Because there are a lot, we try to condense them a little bit more into these various schools. The one that you probably want to focus on is the law school, with it being the law webinar today. But just to give you an idea of, we do cover so many different subject areas, which is something that you would, if you were to research a little bit more about UK education, you would specialise in one particular subject area as soon as you want to start university, which is a little bit different to university over in Canada. So I can always go into more detail about that if you want to contact me afterwards. But yeah, we're focusing on the law school today. So yeah, one big question that I get asked a lot about from students is the actual cost of attending the university, both in the UK and at Leeds Beckett University as well. And Leeds Beckett's very affordable tuition fees. So for most of our courses this year, we're actually the tuition fees are $14,000 for each year, and the undergraduate courses, most of them are 3 years. You also have the option to do a placement year as well if you wanted to. That would make it 4 years for your undergraduate degree. Postgraduate degrees are predominantly 1 year. We have some that are 2 years, some of them more the health programs. But like I say, so that would be $15,000 for a postgraduate program if you were to start this September. Just to give you an example of the living costs that the UK government recommends that you would have for your time during as being a student in the UK. This is just a brief sort of a snapshot of what they recommend, like I say. But it does depend, it does depend on your lifestyle. You don't have to use that as a baseline. It does depend on your lifestyle, how much you're going to spend. There's various high, low costs of accommodation as well. So it is kind of up to you, and it is what you make it. But that's just a kind of rough overview if you were to live outside of London, because those prices are. And then, yeah, we do actually offer some international scholarships too. So we have, if you were to study an undergraduate program, which hopefully you're interested in our LLB law, and like I say, so that's 3 years, and you would receive an international scholarship of £1,000 per year. So you would knock that off the tuition fee, basically. We also have postgraduate scholarships of £3,000 for the first year. So again, you would knock that off for the $15,000 from previous slide. Research is £1,500 per year. And also, if you were to study both an undergraduate and a postgraduate degree, you would receive a 10% alumni discount. Students aren't required to submit a separate scholarship application. This scholarship would just automatically be deducted from your tuition fee. We do also accept Canadian loans, such as student aid. We also have OSAP, which we deal with very regularly. We actually have an office and a team that does specialise in North American loans. So we have a contact that will help you fill out what the forms and just talk to you about what you need. And if that was something that you're interested in, we do kind of run events throughout the year to help you stay on top of the likes of those types of things. And our partners SI UK would definitely help you go through all of that as well. LLB is an undergraduate program in the UK, and it's 3 years in duration. It is the equivalent of a Canadian LLB as well. In the UK, students, like I was saying before, students don't require a prior degree before taking a law degree. You can just apply directly to the law programme. So whereas you wouldn't specialise in a particular major or anything like that, and then apply for a law programme afterwards, you can head directly into law from straight after high school. So what Canadian students would do is you would speak to the likes of myself and Ashley and the regional team and David, and we would take a look at your qualifications that you do have. You do have to meet the minimum entry requirements for the high school diploma, and then you would, which we have specific ones for Canada as well, so you wouldn't need to translate these into UK UCAS points, which is something that you might see on our website. So don't worry if this doesn't make any sense at this stage. You can always speak to the regional team and we'll help translate those qualifications for you. Yeah, so it obviously does focus on the UK law, so it doesn't include any Canadian law modules. So therefore, when you do return home, you would basically carry out an NCA assessment. NCA stands for the National Committee on Accreditation. Basically what that would mean is transferring your UK degree over to Canada and just kind of switching it over to the Canadian legal system. So you need to, as part of that, you need to demonstrate knowledge in the Canadian law content through challenge exams or by completing some of the NCA approved courses from a Canadian law school provider as well. And yeah, so the NCA must be completed to start bar admissions. Assessment is based on you demonstrating your competency in 10 core courses.
Just going to talk a little bit about the Leeds Law School and the LLB degree that we offer. So as Aaron says, you know, Leeds is one of the largest cities in the UK, and in fact, in terms of law, it's the largest legal district in the UK outside of London. London obviously is a very large legal centre. Okay, so by studying here, you'll have the opportunity to, you know, be involved in the law in Leeds. You'll have the opportunity to get some experience and to meet some practitioners of law in the UK, which is something that will be very good for you and for your CV, you know, as you go forward. The law school has very good facilities. Okay, we have a courtroom, and you have a picture of the courtroom there. So we run mock trials in there, which is a very good sort of experience for you. We have a law clinic. So what does that mean? A law clinic is in its own building, which is owned by the law school, and it allows students to basically advise real people. So we advertise the law clinic services, and then clients will come to us with problems which can cover a wide range of different legal areas. A lot of the problems tend to revolve around employment or family, and then the student can advise those clients under supervision, of course. So a lot of our academics in the law school have worked in practice, such as myself, and we can help the student to give some advice to the student, to the client within a letter. And in fact, at level 6 in year 3 of your degree, the law clinic can be a module, and so you can take your work in the law clinic and it can be credit bearing and count towards your degree. So that's really good and very popular. We offer students a subscription to Law Trove. So what that basically means, one of the big expenses of a law degree are the textbooks. Textbooks are unfortunately quite expensive, and what we say to students is that, you know, we recognise that. So the law school has a subscription to Law Trove, which is a website which will allow you free access to the textbooks that you will need for your course. So you will have online access to those textbooks, and you can annotate them and you can download them and you can print them off if you want. Of course, if you want to go out and buy a hard copy, well, that's completely up to you, and some students do that because they like to have, you know, the feeling of having a hard copy textbook. But again, if you know, money can be tight when you're a student, so this subscription to Law Trove will help with that. Coming back to the point about, you know, Leeds being a very large area for law, we have good links with lots of firms, and there's 3 listed there which you might have heard of. DLA Piper is a national and international firm, as is Squire Patton Boggs. Owen Mitchell is a UK-based firm, but again very large in the UK. So we have a good links with lots of different law firms within the UK. And again, even if you're not thinking of staying in the UK ultimately, getting links with UK law firms and increasing your experience is going to stand you in very good stead as you move through your legal career. We have module prizes, so the student who is the best performing in a module will win a prize. And those prizes vary. Sometimes they're cash, sometimes they are sponsored by a law firm, and the prize might be some work experience or a careers meeting with a partner or something like that. And again, that's something that's really good because that's helping to improve your links with law firms, but also it's a really good thing to put on your CV for when you're making applications subsequently. So I've said as well, I think the law school is really good in the sense that we have a nice mix of practitioners, people who have who have worked in practice for a number of years and can give you that practical background about what it's like to be a lawyer, and those academics who are more research active, and so you get a nice blend of different people to teach you and different experiences, which I think is a really key point about the law school. Okay, if we can move on to the next slide, please. Okay, so we offer various other things as well, which you'd be able to benefit from whilst you are at the law school. We have law in practice lectures, so we have people coming in from outside of the law school, people who are in politics or in law, have a link to law, and they will give you their insight into what it's like to be, you know, how they've got to where they've got to, and some tips. So for example, in previous years we've had Sir Keir Starmer, who's currently leader of the Labour Party in the UK. He wasn't leader of the Labour Party at the time that he spoke to our students, but a very interesting talk given by him. Earlier on this year, or the year that's just passed, we had the Swedish ambassador coming to the law school to give some insights into the legal implications of the Russian invasion of Ukraine, which was a very interesting talk indeed. Okay, so again, opportunity to hear some really interesting speakers and also to get some, you know, to meet some new and different people. Talked about the law clinic, so I won't mention that again. We have a range of extracurricular activities which you can get involved in, including mooting, which is mooting is a legal debate, and again that will practice your oral presentation skills. And the competitions, you can get involved in these mooting competitions, and these are internal or external. You can go, we've had competitions in London previously, and students have done really well at those. So again, it's all about, I think one of the things when thinking about the degree that you want to do is looking not just at the content of the course and the way that it's taught, but also think really carefully about the extracurricular activities that are available. And I think this is something which Leeds Beckett is very good at, and the law school at Leeds Beckett is very good at, in terms of the extra, you know, experiences that we can offer you as a large university. One other, I also want to talk about the mentoring scheme. So we offer all of our LLB students the opportunity to be paired with a professional mentor, either from the Leeds legal or business community. And essentially, this is just a way of getting to know somebody who's already working in practice or in business. And then you'll be paired with them. They might look at your CV, they might give you an office tour. And it's just nice to have a chat, because I think often one of the things that we find is that students just don't know anybody who's worked in the law or have no experience of the law, and it's just a way into that community and to build confidence and to get some links and to get some networking done. Ashley mentioned the work placement opportunities. So the way that works is that you can, you have the opportunity to do a 1-year placement in a graduate job in between your second and your third year. So this would effectively make your degree a 4-year degree. So you'd have your 3 years of your course and then this kind of sandwich year in between your second and your third year. It's important to say though that we don't guarantee that Okay, we don't, if you want to do that, then we will help you to find a placement. We have a placements team which can assist with looking for a placement for you. But the onus is kind of on you, the student, to find that placement with our support. We don't guarantee a year-long placement, but if you are successful in securing that placement, then that is a good opportunity to take advantage of. And those students that have done that have got an awful lot out of that. Okay, thank you. The next slide, please. So I want to say a little bit, if I may, about the structure of the course. This information is also available on our website, so I won't say too much about this, and I don't want to sort of give you too much detail because there's a lot for you to take in here. But we have two courses. We have the LLB on Honours and the LLB Law with Criminology. Okay, and both courses have the same structure in year one. So the way that it works is that you study 3 30-credit modules, which is the law of contract, public law, and criminal law, across the year. So you will start with your contract law and your public law and your criminal law at the end of September, at the beginning of September 1, and you'll study that all the way through to the end of the year, which is around about the end of April. Okay, and you will have assessments in each of those 3 modules at the end of semester 1 and at the end of semester 2. And we think this is a really good model because it allows you to kind of grow into those subjects. Some institutions will teach these modules over 1 semester. So you might find that you do contract in 1 semester and public in 1 semester and criminal in another semester, and then you'll move on to 3 different modules in semester 2. That model has its benefits as well, and we have taught using that model previously, but we think that this kind of long and thin, this more kind of slower pace of studying these important law modules is better for the student, and that allows you to grow into the material. And we think it allows the students to produce better assessment results and to get a better understanding of the material. There's 2 other modules at level 4. This is year 1. You have English legal system, which is just studied over 1 semester, and then legal and employability skills, which is an employability module. So that's, I think, a really useful and valuable module. Has things like how to write a good professional CV, how to write a good covering letter, how to use LinkedIn, and some of this stuff you might have done before. But one of the things that we find is that students sometimes say, well, I know how to write a CV. That's true, but you might not know how to write a professional CV that would be needed for a legal job, for example, because every profession has its own kind of quirks that you need to bear in mind when you are preparing documents for a job role. So I think that's a really good module in the second part of level 4. Okay, thank you. So after level 4, you'll move into your second year, which we call level 5. We'll get used to the terminology. So second year is level 5 in UK HE language. And what we say is that if you're studying the LLB Honours course, you're not studying the Law of Criminology course, then all modules are elective modules. So you have a free choice when you come to make your choices at level 5. Okay, now there are some core, what used to be core modules, which you can take at level 5, and those are property law and tort law. And it used to be under the UK regulatory framework that you had to do those modules if you wanted to go on and be a UK solicitor. You don't have to anymore, but we recommend to our students that they do those modules. So we would recommend at level 5 that you do property law and tort law as 2 of your electives, and then you have a choice as to what other electives that you study. Okay. If you're studying the criminology course, so the law with criminology course, then again there is some flexibility, lots of electives that you can take on there, but you can see that you also have to study 2 criminology modules as well. So the criminology element of your course begins to kick in year 2, and you will have 2 criminology modules to study in year 2 of your course, and then you get some law electives. Again, we would recommend, if you were thinking of studying, to our students who wanted to be a UK solicitor or barrister, that they would take property or tort as part of their law electives. Okay, next slide, please. So at level 6, again, a similar sort of setup in that there's lots of student choice. If you are studying on the pure law, the LLB Honours Programme, then all of the it's all electives. There are no core modules that you need to take. If you are studying on the criminology course, you choose to do the law of criminology course, then you do 2 more criminology modules in your 3rd year. Okay, so you have that, so you can see that in your 2nd and 3rd year you do the modules that you need to do for your criminology element, and the rest are elective modules. Okay, so I don't want to say too much about that because there's quite a lot of detail there, but hopefully that gives you a little bit of flavour as to how things work. I think one of the things that I would sort of take away there, or that you can take away from that, is that you have quite a lot of choice in your 2nd and 3rd year, which I think is a good thing, and it allows students to structure their path and their study path as they wish, and to focus at quite an early stage on modules that they are interested in. And I think different universities might structure that in a slightly different way, but we give students as much choice as we can. So thank you very much. Next slide. So just to talk about what the criminology modules are, I've said that if you choose to do the law with criminology course, you will do 2 criminology modules in your 2nd year and 2 criminology modules in your 3rd year, and you can see there the titles of the modules that you would do. So victims, crime and inequality, and policing, justice and society in your 2nd year, and then in your 3rd year, violent and sexual offending and criminal justice policy. Okay, and you would have to choose, you would have to do those. Okay. Okay, thank you very much. Next slide. So what sort of modules are offered as elective modules? So said you're going to get quite a lot of choice at level 5, which again is year 2, just to remind you of that. So you can see an indicative list there of the sort of modules that are offered. So we've got, I've mentioned property law and the law of tort. So those would be recommended modules for our students who wish to qualify as a UK solicitor or UK barrister. But you can see there that there are a variety of other opportunities as well, some which are more practical based, so something like advocacy or client care skills, so how to write good letters to clients, how to something about the professional conduct rules that you need to think about when you're speaking with and advising clients. Those are quite practical modules. Or you can have more law-based modules, if I can put it like that, something like commercial law or international trade law. So again, you can do a mix and match. You can do some practical, some sort of more law-based. So again, plenty of choice there, and you can see legal tech there as well, which is a relatively new module, but clearly tech is a big part of all of our lives now, and is becoming more and more prevalent in the legal sector as well. So that I think will be a useful module. So moving on to the next slide, where we can talk about the level 6 modules. So this is the choice of modules that you might get at in your 3rd year. Again, you can see there's a nice wide variety here, some practical modules, some much more kind of law-based academic modules, something like dissertation, where you would have to write a 12,000 word project on a subject of your choice. We would offer quite a wide discretion in terms of the topics that are chosen there. If we can supervise the topic that you choose, if we have the expertise within the department to supervise it, then you can do it. So that's quite good. You can see Law Clinic there. I've mentioned Law Clinic as something which can be one of your credit-bearing modules. So there's lots of opportunities there for you to choose a study path which suits you. I mean, students sometimes say, well, do I need to kind of choose modules which reflect the sort of thing that I will want to do in practice? Do I need to be thinking about, well, you know, thinking carefully about that? Certainly in the UK, that's not the case. I would always advise students to choose things which they're interested in and to try different things. Yeah, and that's the most important thing, I think, particularly on the degree. It's an opportunity to explore different areas, and I would always encourage you to do the things that you're interested in. They don't necessarily kind of have to match up or complement each other. Just you know, go with what you fancy, and you will enjoy it. Okay, so thank you very much. Next slide, please. So in terms of other courses and what could be offered once you finish your law degree, well, it's open for any of our students, whether they're UK or international, to qualify as a UK solicitor if they wish to do that. I suspect that may not be relevant to all of the people, or many of the people on this call, but just to mention that as an option. So if you wanted to qualify as a UK solicitor following completion of the law degree, you'd have to do a course called the solicitor, or an exam called the Solicitor's Qualification Exam, which is a relatively new exam. It's beyond the scope of this call today for me to go into that into too much detail, but essentially that is what you would have to do, and there are various preparation courses which you can do in order to get you ready for the SQE. If you wanted to qualify as a UK barrister, then you would need to do the bar training course. And again, that is something which you do after completion of the LLB. Leeds Beckett doesn't currently offer the bar training course. We are at the moment thinking about how we're going to approach the SQE, whether we're going to offer an SQE preparation course, because it's such a new exam at the moment. We're sort of, I think, waiting to see how things develop, what other providers will offer before making any final decisions about how we'll approach the SQE. Given that we're looking, you know, potentially 3 or 4 years in the future, I suspect that by the time, you know, anyone starting in the next year or so graduates, I suspect we would have some sort of preparation course. I put a note on the slides there for the UK regulators, should you wish to check the rules around qualifying as a UK solicitor or barrister. We do also offer some postgraduate courses, master's courses, including international law, and again, further details of those are on our website, should you wish to have a look at those. So thank you very much. Okay, I think that is my bit over. So thank you very much for listening. I hope that's been useful. And again, if anyone has any questions, please do type something in the chat box, or you know, we can talk at the end. But thank you.
Thanks, David. That was really useful. Some really interesting information in there regarding the modules with the 3-year degree. So thank you for that. So just to move on to what Aaron had mentioned earlier on in the presentation, just regarding the NCA qualifications. Now, you may or may not already have some prior knowledge about this, but just to provide some more context and what that means for you if you're studying a 3-year degree here, in terms of you know, how many examinations you need to complete after you've finished your degree at Leeds Beckett. So in order to obtain an NCA qualifications, of course, students are required to demonstrate competence in a number of law subjects. And you can do this in a few different ways. So of course, you will have to be qualified in Canada for your UK degree to transfer over to Canadian law. So you can apply to law school in Canada to complete the remaining courses, or you can self-study. So the NCA provides a syllabus to study at home. Tests will usually occur every month and are usually online, double portrait tests, and it will either be a pass or fail result. There's no guarantee that the test will be held every single month, so of course just make sure that you're checking that with the NCA at the time of doing your examinations, or you can actually do a combination of options 1 and 2. I would say on average students will complete their NCA qualifications in a maximum of 5 years. Don't let that put you off. That doesn't mean that you're going to spend the entire 5 years doing these examinations. As you can see, they are flexible. You can do them from home, and it's all done in your own time. So the length of time that it will take to complete those examinations is entirely down to you and what additional time you have to complete them. So the amount of NCEA examinations required depends really on the length of degree that you have completed and the modules studied within the degree. So we offer a 3-year LLB. So there's a couple of different options there. Our 3-year LLB is open to undergraduate students, so you don't have to do an undergraduate degree in law, for example, to come and study the 3-year LLB here. You can come straight from high school with your high school qualifications. However, a lot of students have already studied in Canada and done their undergraduate degree, and we will still consider applicants who have done an undergraduate degree already. So depending on your prior experience to completing your 3-year LLB will decide on how many examinations you have to complete to qualify in Canada. So if you have at least 2 years of university prior to law school, if a student completes the 3-year and achieves 2.2, which is equivalent of 60% in Canada, and they've already completed 2 years minimum of university before law school, you will have 5 exams to complete with NCEA. If you have less than 2 years of university prior to law school, so if you're coming straight from high school, for example, and you complete the 3-year LLB, and again you achieve a 2.2, 60%, with less than 2 years at university, you will have 7 exams to do. So what that would include is 5 mandatory exams plus another 2 assigned exams, which are decided by NCEA. There are a couple of other things to mention that I haven't included on the slide as well. So if you were to do a law degree, a joint law degree, these slightly differ. So if you have prior 2 years minimum of experience at university, you will have 7 exams to do plus 2 assigned. And then if you're coming straight from high school, or if you have less than 2 years university experience, you'll have 8 or 9 additional exams to do. So that just differs slightly if you're doing a joint honours degree, like law with criminology, for example. So these are just a few of the benefits that David has already mentioned throughout the presentation. So you can apply for a 3-year LLB directly out of high school. I know it's quite common in Canada in order to qualify with an LLB to do an undergraduate degree first. So sometimes that can be up to 5 or 6 years of studying, sometimes more, and then you include your additional examinations onto that. You can come straight into this 3-year LLB straight from high school with your high school qualifications. So I guess that's worth mentioning, that you don't have to come directly from a law background. Of course, if you have any experience that can help support your application, that will help, but it doesn't automatically mean that you won't be considered. There's no LSAT requirement as part of the application. As David mentioned as well, you will be taught by industry leading experts. These are people that have came directly from industry themselves and have the experience to be able to teach you. There's opportunities to study with other international students. We have about 18,000 students, I think, in total across the university. Based on last year, 12% of them were roughly international. That's set to increase this year. So there's a really great community of international students coming from all over the world. And so there's opportunities to be able to make friends and connect with international students the same as you. And I guess probably the biggest one to really mention, the most important, is comparable tuition fees to top tier Canadian law schools. So the tuition fee for LLB is £13,000 a month. That is probably one of the lower tuition fees in comparison to not just Canada, but law schools across the whole of the UK. And as Aaron mentioned earlier on in the presentation, we do offer scholarships as well. So if you think, although it's a 3-year degree, it's a 3-year commitment, overall you will probably be saving far more money than what you would if you were maybe studying at a Canadian law school. And as David mentioned as well, there are workplace opportunities. They are optional. If you wanted to have a year's work placement working within a law firm, you can choose to do that, which would mean that your law degree would be spread out over 4 years. However, I know it's important for Canadian students to graduate soon and quickly. So again, as I said, that is optional. You don't have to do the work placement. You can come here, do the 3-year degree and finish, and then choose what you want to do after that. These are our entry requirements. So as I said, you can apply as an undergraduate student. So it's the undergraduate entry requirements that we would be looking for. So general high school diploma, we would look for 5 subjects at grade 70 or above. If you're based in Quebec, it would be grade 70% or above. British Columbia, we would look for 5 grades at B or above. And then in Ontario, we would look for 6 grades of 60% or above in U, UC or M courses. The application process is fairly straightforward. You have a couple of options. So you can apply through our college and university application portal, which is called UCAS. UCAS will allow you to apply for up to 5 universities across the whole of the UK. So you're not just limited to Leeds Beckett. I would normally recommend that if you are applying for more than one course, if you're applying not just to Leeds Beckett University, you're applying to a few different ones across the UK, I would recommend using UCAS. It's much more streamlined. You'll have access to what's called UCAS Track, where you'll be able to see an overview of all of your applications and what stage they're at, and that will include if you are, once you're given offers for those applications as well. One thing to mention though, if you are using UCAS for your application, is just to bear in mind that your personal statement and your application will be sent to all 5 of those universities. So just avoid, mentioning any specifics about Leeds Beckett, for example, if it's going to all of the universities. Or you have the option to submit a direct application, and it's just exactly how it sounds. You can do this via the course webpage by selecting apply, and you would just be asked, similarly to UCAS, for evidence of your qualifications, 2 references, ideally academic references, so someone who's worked with you in an academic environment that can comment on your capabilities, at high school or your grades at university, for example. And then probably the most important part of your application is your personal statement, and that's really an opportunity to use your own words and why you think you would be good for the law degree, for example, if you have any prior knowledge, experience, and why you want to study law. So just the last few slides here. We do have on-campus accommodation. Aaron mentioned earlier on in the presentation, it's Leeds that you would be based in. It's very much a city environment. It's a bustling city full of students. So there's lots of accommodation options, all within walking distance to your campus. We have 2 campuses, as Aaron mentioned, Headingley and City Centre, and we have accommodation spread across the whole of the city. So there's a lot of options for you. And we guarantee accommodation to international students who apply within the booking periods of the 1st of February to the 31st of July. These are private rented accommodation, which is available as well. And we match you with like-minded students. You'll be asked to complete an application, like what your hobbies and interests are, whether you want to live with other females, males, or mixed. And we'll do our best to match you up with your preferences. As I mentioned, it's all within easy travelling distance of the campus. There's free Wi-Fi as well. We also have residential officers which are responsible for your welfare and pastoral care. And the options are single rooms and private bedrooms which are available as well. So unlike some accommodation in North America where, excuse me, it might be dormitory style, In the UK, you will have your own bedroom, a shared living room, and a shared kitchen. And then, depending on your budget, you can choose to stay in a room that has a private bathroom or a shared bathroom. It's completely your preference. We'll connect you with people before you arrive on social media via halls of residence, Facebook pages, and the accommodation website offers a full 360 view of rooms, which we've linked here, so please feel free to have a look at that. But we've included some pictures on the right hand side to let you see what they look like. There's lots of opportunities to make friends on campus, so you can meet new people during International Welcome Week, which is actually coming up soon. There's Global Village, which organises social events. Living in Leeds Beckett Halls is also a great way to make new friends, so I would recommend, if this is your first time in the UK and you don't know anyone here yet, I would highly recommend living in our halls. You can also choose to be a global ambassador, and this is a great way to meet new people while earning some extra cash. Join a fitness class at our gym on campus, or you can learn a new language with our part-time language programme. We also have a student union and societies available on campus. Probably the most relevant one to you would be our Law Society, but there's lots of different ones which cater to your subject area or different hobbies or interests that you might have. So we have a music society, computing, film, speech, language and therapy. We also have an Indian Student Association as well. And these are just a list of all of our support services on campus. So you'll see that we have student money advice, student health and wellbeing. As I mentioned, we have residential officers available within your accommodations, disability support as well. There's a student advice hub, counselling, support for bereavement and academic advisors that are available throughout the year as well. So this is just our last slide with our contact details. You are more than welcome to get in touch with us after today if you have any questions, if you think you're thinking of applying. Your contact at SI UK will be happy to put you in touch with us, but these are our email addresses if you want to note them down. We also have a Canada country page as well, which includes interesting information on, of course, entry requirements for undergraduate and postgraduate, some student testimonials included on there as well. Then, of course, we have all our social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, so I encourage you to have a look on there. We also hold a podcast, and we have a student blog spot as well, so you can hear from other students about what their experience is like at Leeds Beckett. So I think that is the last of the slides. So thank you so much for listening to our presentation. Hopefully that gave you more information on our law programmes, what we have to offer here at Leeds Beckett. But we're happy to open it up to questions as well from anyone. If you want to ask any questions about Leeds Beckett or the programme, this is the time to do it.
Yeah, thank you again, guys, for a really helpful and informative presentation. I don't see any questions right now. I think usually students are a little shy, or sometimes it takes a little while to digest quite a lot of information. So what I'll do is I'll just quickly go through summarizing. I won't go into detail too much of UCAS again, but UCAS is open for September 2023 application. If anyone here is interested in September 2022, do you still have clearing spots available for the law program for international students?
Yes. We're going through clearing at the moment, so we would have to be move quite quickly. But yes, I think if anyone was interested and had the met the entry requirements, then we could certainly consider that.
Yeah, great. And is there a CAS deadline for student visas? Or it's usually end of August, I think.
I'm just wondering, do you want to answer, Sharon? Will I don't mind. Yeah, there's not really necessarily a CAS deadline. However, because we're fast approaching September, if there are any students that are interested in applying through clearing, I would recommend that they get their application in as soon as possible. There is some flexible entry dates, but we're not as flexible as we were in previous years because of COVID. So I would encourage any students considering the clearing option to get their application in the next week or so, and we'll try our best to get that through quickly for them.
Great, thank you so much. So I'll skip this one. And just so everyone knows, there are different law schools coming in every Thursday on this platform, just to give you some more information about their schools. So feel free to go ahead onto our website if you're interested in learning more about other universities. And we do also have an in-person fair on the 2nd of October at the Chelsea Hotel in Toronto. So, if you are interested in meeting representatives face-to-face, it's a really good opportunity before you submit any applications to do so. And I'll leave this up with our contact details. If you don't have a consultant or you're not sure who that is, feel free to get in touch. So thank you again, really, for a very helpful presentation, and I'll let you go to enjoy your evening as well.
Well, yeah, thank you very much, Nat. And just to say, absolutely, please do get in contact if you've got any questions, about the course. Please do drop me an email. I'll be very happy to answer, or we can have a meeting over Teams.
Yeah, that would be great.
Absolutely. I also just quickly wanted to mention as well, we actually have a representative from our team, who's visiting Canada on the 22nd to the 25th of September, and he will be in Toronto, Montreal, and I can't remember the last one, Aaron.
Ottawa was
Sorry?
Was it Ottawa? I think the last one.
Ottawa, that's it, yes.
He'll be in Toronto and around anyway. So.
Yeah, he'll be over, so I'm sure he'll be visiting the SI UK offices while he's over there. But if you want to meet up with him while he's visiting Canada, let us know. We can arrange a meeting.
Yeah, that'd be great. It's always good to have the in-person meeting. I feel like students are maybe a little more confident to ask their questions. But yeah, thanks again, and thank you everyone for joining us today. I hope you have a great rest of your day.
And thank you for organising it.
No worries.